How do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and riding and winning and always faster and faster.
Well, welcome back everybody to With Anton MotoGP 2026. And I want to thank everybody who watched the last episode, some great conversations and some really interesting thoughts. This week, I want to start with a quote. The hardest thing for any athlete is not winning. It's knowing when to stop and how long to last. Now that's Marc Marquez speaking on Spanish TV program La Sexta, the Sixth. And when Marc Marquez admits that the body may end his career before his mind does, it makes us focus on a bigger conversation. Now in MotoGP, there's pressure. The pressure to stay on the grid and the enormous pressures to return as quickly as possible after an injury. You know, teams are waiting. Your seat is at risk, and for sure, the championship does not pause or wait for anyone. But the human body doesn't work on those types of deadlines. We've seen it with Marc Marquez, 2020, Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez, the big crash and the arm injury. We've seen it with Jorge Martin, missing huge chunks of the 2025 season as he went from injury to injury and coming back too soon. And now we're seeing it with the 2025 Rookie of the Year, Fermin Aldegeur, breaking his femur this week in pre-season training. So today, it's not about fear or excuses. It's about the human limit and why sometimes patience after an injury, it's not a weakness, it's survival. Every racer knows it's not if I'm going to crash, but it's when I'm going to crash. The mind may be ready, but it's the body that makes the decision when you can return. So Marc Marquez had admitted what really every athlete fears, that the body will end the career, not hunger, lack or lack of desire. Look back over history, you've got Mick Doohan, Freddie Spencer, Wayne Rainey, and countless other riders. That, look, if every fast rider never got injured, the grid would look entirely different. So when Marc Marquez says he will retire because his body will tell him, that's everything we need to hear about modern MotoGP. Motivation, it's not the issue. The limit is physical, it's not mental. So Fermin Aldeguer's accident didn't even happen on a MotoGP bike. It happened whilst he was training. He was training with Marc Marquez, and Marc Marquez returning off back to the bitumen and the racetrack after 100 days absence from his crash and injury in Mandalika. And they were on the Aspar circuit just outside Valencia. It's a tight circuit where actually so tight in fact that Marc Marquez decided on the Pangali V2 as it's safer to negotiate the tight and twisty track there. But Aldeguer was on a Yamaha R6. Now this is Fermin Aldeguer, a contracted factory Ducati rider on a Yamaha. Now I've got to ask a question here. Do you think Ducati dropped the ball? I can't understand why he wasn't supplied with the Ducati. So now Fermin Aldeguer, he's under pressure to return. Now it looks like his surgery's gone well. So as in 2026 is not really a championship year for him. He hopes to do well and build his speed, but I don't think he's in contention for the championship. Then he should take his time to come back. Look, it's easy for me to say take your time, but it's not that easy to do. Now, I believe his friendship and his close bond with Marc Marquez will help him, and it will help him to see coming back too early is a mistake. But pre-season, wow, the testing in pre-season, we've got KL coming up, we've got Thailand coming up, and then of course we're into the first round. So that data is really valuable for him. He'll be on the GP 25. His teammate Alex will be on the new 2026 bike. So maybe someone like a Bulliger can jump on the bike and ride the Gresini for him. Let's see, it doesn't clash with the super bike, so maybe he can do that. So hopefully he will be able to get some data that he needs. But the pressure is on him. Even the pre-season, the pressure is on every rider. It's the pressure to be on the bike and on the grid. Now, MotoGP doesn't discriminate whether you're a rookie, like Aldeguer was last year, or whether you're a 7 times world champion. The rules are the same. Look, one thing though I will say in Aldeguer's favour, he's young, a young body's going to heal quicker, and I think that will aid in his recovery. But what about this whole accumulation of injuries? Now, Marc Marquez shows that his body has been through a complete ringer. He has had major injuries and he has major surgeries. Now, the body remembers these injuries. Every racer has the same aches and pains that they've had, and as you get older, it's harder and harder to continue on. You know, the body really keeps receipts when you have lots of different crashes. So when riders like Marc Marquez say the body decides, he is better positioned than anyone else to make that statement. Safety is paramount when these guys are racing, but you know, injuries still occur regardless of how safe the circuits can be. So this talk of street races and trying to put it into Las Vegas or Abu Dhabi, I can't see how this can happen. Even with a perfectly designed racetrack with big runoffs, you've still got, you know, injuries occurring. Carrying injuries into a season, it can be a very long season. Look at Maverick Vinales last year. It was 3 or 4 attempts to try to come back. So MotoGP is a physically brutal sport. MotoGP always rewards bravery, but it will not forgive impatience. The pressure to come back too soon, prove that you're fast, that you're valuable and you are worthy of your seat, it's a massive pressure. But when the body's not ready, pushing through doesn't make you stronger. It can just even add to another injury. Jorge Martin trying to come back, injury after injury. So when Marc Marquez says he's mentally still a rocket, but even rockets need a strong structure around them to function. MotoGP is a sport that keeps getting faster and faster. The hardest skill might be not riding the bike to the limit, but knowing when to wait. And patience can make a career or it can end it. So what do you think? What do you think Aldeguer should do? Of course, it's a medical thing. We need to see this whole issue of patience, the endurance the riders have to go through. Love to get your thoughts on this. Drop it down below in the comments. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, then give me a thumbs up. Or if you know someone getting into MotoGP or someone who loves GP, why don't you forward this episode along? Okay, it's been great to chat to you today, and I look forward to talking again soon. Okay, bye-bye.